Hey everybody, this is Mark with Soul Shelter Music, and today what I wanted to show you is importing audio, in particular tracks that you may have sent to you if you're collaborating with other people that are working in their home studios and they're sending you their tracks to import into your project. So today I actually have a guitar solo from a friend of mine that he sent me, and so I want to get that in Reaper and I want to see what it sounds like. And I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on it because it was just a practice take, but I just want to show you the process I use to get audio into Reaper. So what I want to do is I want to go here, and here is his solo. All you have to do is just drag this guy into your Reaper project and let it go, and Reaper will import the audio right into the project, and it names it whatever the file name was. And so right off the bat, what I want to do is I want to inspect it. If you noticed in my last video, I showed you how to put in track markers. So I've got my song completely laid out here with track markers, and look at there, I'm looking pretty good. The majority of the audio is here in the solo section, and so that's pretty awesome. But I'm noticing one problem. This is a stereo track, and there will be certain instruments that you might want to leave as a stereo track, but for a guitar solo I want that to be a mono track so that I can put it wherever I want, either straight up the middle or in the left or in the right, in the stereo field. And so one of the ways that you can convert this to a mono is you can go up here to track, and there's a render freeze track option, and you can render this track to a mono stem and mute the original, and that's what we want to do. So we'll go ahead and choose that option, and Reaper is going to re-render just this track to a mono take, and you'll see what happens in just a moment. And there it goes. And so here is the new rendered track. It is a mono single track, and that's exactly what I want to work with. And so I can go ahead and I can get rid of this other track here now, and I can just work with this mono track. Now, because I have track markers, I can highlight this section, right? Because I know that I'm just working on a guitar solo today, and I can zoom in. So I want to get pretty tight here, and I want to check out what my friend John has sent me, and sure enough, this is looking pretty good. Alright, so one of the things that he told me he had some problems with is actually getting the audio lined up on his side. But look here, I'm in the solo section, and it looks like the majority of his solo is pretty well lined up. So what I can do here is I can come and I can put my mouse here on the outro section, and I can hit the letter S, and that splits that audio. I can do the same thing at the beginning of the solo. See how my track markers are coming in handy here? And I can hit S, and that basically splits that audio up into different sections of audio. If I'll zoom back out, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So now I have 3 sections, and I can essentially delete the last, I can delete the intro, and now I know I've got his solo right here in the solo section. Now, one of the things about importing audio that I'll tell you is turn the volume down. You want to turn it down first, because sometimes, you know, who knows, you might have a really hot piece of audio, and the track's pretty loud, and you know, Reaper's actually got a feature in it that will mute the track if it exceeds a certain volume level. But the other thing I want to show you in Reaper here is what's called fade-ins and fade-outs. And if you notice, my cursor will change as I hover over the top left corner of this audio piece, and you see it kind of turns into a pie shape pointing to the left and right, and then over here it does the same thing. What you can do is you can click your left mouse button and pull that guy over, and that will produce you a fade out. Here you want to click and pull that over, and that'll produce a fade in. You want to do fade ins and fade outs on your audio because that will reduce pops and clicks. as audio comes in and out of your session. Okay, so let's see what this solo sounds like here. I'll let it play a little bit beforehand, and we'll fade it in and see what it sounds like. Okay, now I want to switch over to my mixer view here. Okay, I want to come over here and I want to watch the meter. This solo, I've actually got it at 0 dB and it sounds a little quiet to me. Yep. Okay, so you see it's hovering around -24 to -30 dB. You know, that's not a bad thing. I'd actually rather have audio that's a little quieter than something that's like red hot and almost clipping the meters. So one of the things that I can do to bring the audio up is I can add a plug-in, okay? And basically I can add a plug-in that acts as a trim knob like on a console, and it's called Volume in Reaper. And here it is. And so let's just go ahead and raise this guy. It was around -24, so let's raise it up 10 dB, and now let's listen to it. Look at there. Cool. So now I've got the volume of the track increased using trim, which is just a clean way to put some gain on there. Now I've noticed that if you solo this track, let's listen to it in solo. Hello. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so I know that my friend actually recorded this with his pod DI straight into GarageBand. I think is what he was using. And so what I have found with DI tracks is that they're a little harsh on the top end. And so one of the things that I like to do is I like to add a well, first of all, I might consider reamping this thing, but we're just testing this for now. So I want to add another plug-in that's like a tube amp plug-in. This is a free plug-in that you can get, and it's called Tau Tube. And I just want to apply this general tube amp preset, and now let's see what the solo sounds like. To me, it sounds a little bit thicker. All right, and then the final thing that I want to do here is I just want to add a little bit of an EQ. And generally what I do on EQ is I will do a high pass filter, and let's just start at 100, and let's listen to that. Okay, all right, so that's sounding pretty good to me now. Now, one of the things that I might want to consider doing here, and let's go back out to our track view, is I like to add just a little bit of delay onto my guitar solos. And so I want to show you how I would go about doing that. Let's take this off of solo. I want to go in here, all right, and I want to go to insert a new track, and let's just call this delay. Okay, and I want to go and I want to select my delay called Nasty Delay by Variety of Sound. This is a really good delay plugin. Again, it's totally free. You can find it out on the internet. Download it. It's a VST plugin that you can plug right into your Reaper program. Okay, so let's play our solo again. Open up our delay. No delay, right? Let's do this. Send it to the delay. Alright, so right mouse click on IO, send it to the delay. There we go. Alright, now one of the things I didn't mention on my previous send tutorial is anytime that you create a send like this where you're sending a track to another track, you want to make sure that the track that's being sent to, in this case the delay, is a wet only track, and I want to turn the wet all the way up. Now I've already kind of played around with this track and I've found a setting that I like pretty good. It's called let's see here, Modern Chorus Delay. Now so I'm going to do that preset. I'm 100% wet here. I've got my wet only. You click that knob right there, and I want to bring this down, okay? And as the solo plays, what I want to do is I want to raise up the amount of delay to the point that I would think it sounds pretty good. So I'm just blending in a little bit of delay. I still want his track dry up the middle, his solo dry up the middle, because it's the main feature of the song. But I would just want to add just a hint of delay. So let's do that now. Let's let his solo play. Okay, so that's sounding pretty good to me. Now let's see what it sounds like within the context of the entire song. So let's let the song play with the solo. Okay, so sounding pretty good, not too bad. I mean, obviously this isn't my final mix. I'm just kind of trying some things out to see what it sounds like, but I'm liking what I'm hearing. So now what I could do is I could come here and I could say render, the file render, and I could render this track out and save it as an MP3 file and email it back to my buddy and say, hey, here's what I've done with your solo. I think you're on the right track, sounding good, and just continue the process of refining my collaboration with my buddy there in Austin, Texas. So anyways, I hope this helps. That's how you get audio into Reaper. Depending on the type of audio, you might want to render that thing as a mono track. Okay, showed you how to add a few little effects for processing. You set up another send, in this particular case the delay for the guitar solo, and there you go. Now you're ready to set this guy into loop mode and just play around with different delay settings until you find one that you like. Okay, but I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. Be glad to answer it. But this is Mark with Soul Shelter Music. Take care.